Good afternoon, MP Gary, representing Scarborough-Rouge Park. Thank you for taking the time to be here today.
I'm delighted to be here. Yeah.
Okay. In today's Zoom show series, we'll discuss the resources available in Scarborough-Rouge Park, the COVID-19 vaccine, and how the federal government has continued to support local. So with the red zone in effect in Scarborough-Rouge Park, it is common that people may experience financial instability and significant income loss. What financial resources are available for individuals seeking income support?
That's a great question. There are a number of different supports that are available to individuals, and they're available through our Canada Revenue Agency. So if people have been working, there is an enhanced EI program, employment insurance program, where people can apply. And for those who don't qualify for EI, we do have a special stream that will allow people to apply directly. We've had supports for students. So for example, suspension of the interest on student loans. We've had individuals with disabilities. We gave a $600 rebate, as well as HST rebates for those families back in June, I believe. And then we've had a number of programs for seniors, which is old age security and guaranteed income supplement, for those who are on either of the programs. We had up to $600 that were going into seniors. So we've had a range of supports for individuals, and they will continue right till the end of the pandemic. Initially, we had the Canada Emergency Response Benefit, and that kind of ended in the fall, and then EI and enhanced EI picked up from there. We're very confident that that people are supported through the pandemic. I mean, health and safety of individuals is paramount to us, and the supports we have is supporting people to stay safe and to be healthy, but also manage the pandemic, in a financial sense as well.
Definitely. Thank you for providing this useful information. As an advocate of the community service and local advocacy, how is the government supporting local business in Scarborough-Rouge Park during this time?
We have a number of different supports. The major one is the Canada Emergency Business Account. It initially started as a loan of $40,000, interest-free loan of $40,000 with $10,000 forgivable. Now as of December, there's an additional $20,000 available, so a total of $60,000 available as an interest-free loan, with $20,000 being basically written off if people pay the loan back in time. We have the Canada Emergency Wage Subsidy, which is now extended till next June, and it is an enhanced program. Employers will be able to get up to 75% wage subsidized until next year. We have rent subsidies. So for those who are affected by the pandemic, who've had to close their businesses, they can get up to 90% of their rent subsidized by the federal government. So we have a suite of products that I think really has focused on supporting individuals and businesses. And our objective is to make sure that people are safe going to the other end, the other side of the pandemic. And we know that the local community is struggling, but together we'll be able to get through this. So we're also encouraging people to support our small businesses, those who are our restaurants, our places, who are really on the margins, and we want to be able to support them through. So we're also encouraging everybody to shop locally, to support their local small businesses.
Yeah, direct support is truly important. Is there anything else you wanted to add to that?
Well, I think that's the direct support is critical, and the financial supports we have, while it's not perfect, it will, and it has captured a great deal of people who are struggling, businesses who are struggling, and we're hoping that these supports will allow them to bridge to the other side of the pandemic. And we're confident that once that the pandemic is over and the vaccines are given to everyone, we will be in a position to rebuild our economy and to support our businesses to come back strong.
Exactly. Yeah, so, in what ways is your office helping to get important information related to the pandemic out to the community, especially in the northern part of the riding that is most affected by the pandemic?
Well, we have a number of different ways that we do it. First and
Mm,
foremost, we do a direct mail campaign to our riding. So those in our constituency will be receiving regular mailouts from our office. There's one that's coming out in December, and we've had periodical updates throughout the pandemic and throughout the year. So usually we do about 4 to 6 direct mail outs with specific information, especially about COVID supports. I think that by far is our best way to reach people. We do at times do door knocking, although with the pandemic, we've kind of limited that.
mm,
But during the summer, we were able to see more people on the road, in parks and in public places. We were able to engage them a socially distant way. We have an enormous network of, about 4 to 5 thousand people who are on our mailing list that usually get regular mails from us with supports as they come available and changes to any of the programs that we have. And then we have a staff who are out in the community who are essentially my number one resource because they are in the community. They talk to people, they talk to family members, people
mhm,
call them, and they're also constantly talking to constituents. So when we see trends, when we see issues that arise and there's trends, then we know then it's not just an individual issue, it becomes a policy issue, one that may require advocacy. So then we will escalate the work from just responding to that individual case to one where there may be some needs for policy advocacy. So, for example, the rent subsidy, for example, the initial one we had, I mean, although this is strictly a provincial issue, the initial rent subsidy we had, we know that some landlords were not buying in. There were some limitations in terms of how that could be accessed, and we had a number of people that contact me, including folks in my plaza who are hardworking small business people, and we were able to make some changes that really did help a broader range of people. So we're constantly in contact. The name of this game is really being responsive to the needs of the community, and we are constantly talking to people and responding as needed.
yeah, it's truly important for the community to know these things and to be aware, right? So, can we talk about the vaccine? What plans and services does the government have in the works regarding efficient rollout of COVID-19 vaccine?
So this is a great question. Everybody's talking about the vaccine. We are within weeks away from approvals of our initial vaccine. We have put orders in for 7 different vaccines. I think up to 400 million doses. We are by far the country with the highest number of committed doses of any country in the world on a range of different products. Having said that, we are very conscious of how important it is to get it right. Just because there are vaccines out there does not mean that they meet our standards. Doesn't
Mhm,
mean that it meets our requirements as defined by those who know science. So we have an elaborate team of scientists who are evaluating the vaccines. I think there's 3 right now that are going through the application process, and these evaluations, independent of any other country, will lead towards results. We are cooperating and talking to other countries, but ultimately, this decision that the Health Canada will make based on the recommendation of our scientists. This is not a political decision. This is not a decision that is going to be made by anyone other than scientists, and we are fully confident of their ability to make the right decision. Once that's done, we will have shipment. We're ready to roll them out. We procure them and then we distribute it on a per capita basis to the provinces, and ultimately it's the provinces that will be responsible for the vaccinations. On our end, what's important for us is to make sure that there's some national priorities. So for us, obviously, Indigenous population is front and center. That is a group that we're strictly responsible for on reserve. Indigenous people. That's something that we're very keen on, making sure that they're secured the vaccine. Also, those people in federal custody, as well as those who are working in the front lines of the federal for the federal government, including military personnel. So I think the range of rollout, I think, will depend on the province, but we're confident that vaccines will start to roll out in due course. We may not be the first to start vaccinating, but we will definitely are the best prepared. And I believe, one statistic I heard last week, the Minister of Health said 16 million people get vaccinated each year for the flu, for example. So that's a high number, and this is routine. It doesn't strain our system. So we're confident that we have the infrastructure to be able to roll out the vaccine, especially when we have a number of products. But obviously, we need to do it properly with the proper due diligence, and that's the process we're in. We're quite excited at the prospect. We know that it's been a long I guess 9 months now. We also know that we're going to have a tough winter. It's going to be a tough few months ahead, especially on issues like mental health, for young people, for seniors who are isolated. But when we do this, we want to do this right, and we see the light at the end of the tunnel. We see hope. We see the prospects of the vaccine coming in and helping us, but we know that we also need to be patient and we can't rush this. And we're quite excited of what's to come, and we know that Canadians are will be pleased with the way we handle this going forward.
Yeah, I agree. We can only continue to do the right things for our families and our communities.
Absolutely.
So thank you for that answer. For our last question, how is the federal government continuing to support small grassroots organizations that are doing a lot of the heavy lifting, including food banks, youth centers, faith, cultural, and community-based groups to fight the impact of the pandemic?
So first and foremost, our Canada Emergency Wage Subsidy is available for all organizations. So if they're impacted by, by the pandemic, they can definitely apply. We know that faith groups are applying to help with their with their staff. We know that individual youth organizations have applied and received money. So it is across the board support on the wage subsidy, and we're very proud of that. Then we've also had an additional set of money, for example, through the United Way Community Foundations of Canada, as well as the Red Cross, where monies were sent to organizations locally, and they supported the work of the local community. We've had, I think, two runs of funding from the United Way, for example, that's gone into supporting the community. So we're very confident that we've rolled out the types of support that's needed so that the organizations that are on the front lines are recognized and are supported in a way that that wouldn't leave them hang them out to dry. I think it's really a response to the tremendous inspiration that we get from individuals who just go out there and do the right thing, who are delivering food for seniors, who are making sure they're picking up medication, all kinds of things that we've heard during the pandemic, and we're there to support. And long-term care homes, for example, we just in the budget and the fall economic statement, we have $1 billion allocated to that. We already have $3 billion going to the COVID resiliency fund, and that will go into supporting changes to HVAC systems in long-term care homes, a whole host of things that we know that is needed, and I believe that we're doing all the right things by all measures. 97 cents on the dollar that's spent in Ontario is coming directly from the federal government. So just to put it in perspective, most of the supports are coming directly from us, and we will continue to be there for Canadians as long as this pandemic is there and thereafter. We know that a lot of heavy lifting needs to be done after the pandemic, and we're ready to do that.
It's amazing to see how everyone has come together during this time. So thank you, Gary, for being here today. And on behalf of Morningside Heights Neighborhood Association, we're grateful for your presence with us. As a final message to you, to everyone watching, and to our community, please stay safe and remember we're in this together. Right.
Thank you.